Hey, what's going on, guys? Bflattened here with a brand new video today. It looks like we are finally getting the patch and hotfix for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands that include the BlightCaller. Let's go ahead and see what our changes are going to be for today. So, there are two methods by which we deliver updates to players. One will be the weekly changes that will cover smaller adjustments, and the other will be downloadable updates to the game that will include more impactful bug fixes and changes. The changes included in this update will be live by 9:30 Pacific time on August 11th. To confirm that you have the most recent hotfix, you just gotta see the hotfix sign appear. And let's get right into it, shall we? This downloadable update will include support for the 4th content drop for the Season Pass and various bug fixes and performance improvements. A new class has been added called the BlightCaller, as we know and love it. The BlightCaller is a status effect and elemental damage specialist. Killing enemies restore their wards, and spreading status effects grants them enhanced and supernatural abilities. The BlightCaller is able to call upon the spirits and summon temporary companions to aid them in battle. Access to the BlightCaller's class is granted via Shattering Spectre Glass and 4th chapter of post-launch content included in the Season Pass and Chaotic Great Edition. In support of this, in addition to this support, some changes have been made that we wanted to give special mention to based on feedback from the community. Fate Makers would occasionally encounter an infinite loading screen when loading into Dreamvale Overlook or the Overworld. Sully would occasionally not attach to his body properly, causing a progression blocker during On the Wink of Destruction. Destroy Quartz objective would not always mark as completed if Fate Makers destroy clusters before triggering it. Lake Lady would not always attack Fate Makers in a Knight's Toil. Zomboss would not always stay dead like the rest of the bosses. Oh, did they get rid of the Zomboss glitch? Oh boy. Fate Makers would occasionally get stuck in Gloopaboth aspect of Abyss. Boss Arena in the Chaos Chamber after defeating the boss quickly. Fate Makers would not consistently see Bone Mage variants cast their magic missile attack. Tamed Orc Eyebrows when wearing the Woodist Thou mask. Ear cosmetics would sometimes not match the other cosmetics when dropped. Melee attack sounds and animations would occasionally repeat during cutscenes of the Fate Maker attacked as they started. Fate Makers would occasionally not be able to interact with the mirrors in Dreamvale Overlook when leaving a multiplayer session. Fidor's shield barrier would not always be visible to all players. Passive buff icons would occasionally not update when changing maps. I remember that one. Royal Splendor armor color has been unlocked for all players. Blessings in Chaos Chamber would sometimes not be awarded to players who join multiplayer late. They have various FSR 2.0 improvements for PC, various UI adjustments and improvements, various performance and stability improvements, various hot fixes were nativized, and more. Address the following gear specific reported concerns. Let's see if they get a couple that I reported a while ago. Lethal Catch Ring would not consistently apply additional effects when Fate Makers killed land sharks or crabs. Thumb Cuff Ring would not consistently apply additional effects when Fate Makers were in Chaos Chambers. Spirit Rune would not consistently reward the ward regeneration delay reduction. Stats in the shell casing ring would sometimes not be increased when ammo was low. There it is. Yep, shell casing ring is one of them that I reported a while ago. Finger ward ring would sometimes not remove bonuses for being at full ward after the Fate Maker unequipped their ward. Damage radius and critical spell damage augments would not consistently function across spells. Non-elemental wards would occasionally roll with the resistance augment. Antique Greatbow would sometimes significantly slow the Fate Maker's movement. Tyrant's Truth armor from the Molten Mirrors DLC would sometimes not dismiss companions after save loading a map. Tyrant's Truth armor would not consistently function when the player loads from the main menu. Wards that reflect projectiles in the Frying Pan melee weapon would sometimes not correctly aim at firing sources when fighting Fidor. Elder Women Ring would sometimes not increase gun damage properly. Head of Snake would sometimes not apply to Hydra spawn from inferior weapons. I remember that on my Hail Hydra build. Throwing throwable hole into a singularity would sometimes not increase explode damage. Cape of Tide armor would not always show the Water Nova in multiplayer. Time skip spell would sometimes not apply stats effect damage. Spells with frozen orbs would sometimes not slow down when hitting some bosses. And these are class specific concerns. Stabbomancers from the Shadow skill would occasionally persist past the intended duration when Fate Makers fast travel. Oh, that's a speedrun thing. They actually nerfed the speedrun trick. Stabbomancer exploit their weakness still could unintentionally stack with the same element. Graveborn's Demi-Lich companion would sometimes shoot with a low-resolution texture when fighting enemies. Graveborn's Reaper Bone skill would not consistently display its duration in multiplayer. Clawbringer would occasionally be unable to melee after recalling their hammer and casting spells. Clawbringer Awe skill would sometimes not trigger with the bonus Fire Lightning from Oath of Fire and Oath of Thunder. Increases to Spore Warden's Mushroom Companion damage would be added, rather than multiplied by bonus damage increases like the other companions. Steep Spawn from the Spellshot Polymorph skill would not guarantee a free spellcast as described on the item card. We have a mini event that's going on until September 1st. Wow, that's almost a month long. Golden Path mini event. More gold from enemies throughout the game. Better chance of getting a dedicated drop from Banshee, Ribula, Zomboss, and Parasite. Chaos Chambers have a new featured run that include Wastard, Vorkanor, Lance, and Oculus. Get ready for a new extended featured run. And that is everything. So BlightCaller is dropped, TLDR, BlightCaller is dropped, a bunch of skills have been added, or a bunch of skills have been changed. We saw no weapon buffs, no weapon nerfs. We saw a bunch of different bug fixes that were included, and we also saw various UI performances across PC and console. All in all, really good patch. BlightCaller is dropped, so that's going to be some more content to be having. I'm going to be playing Wonderlands tonight on stream, so make sure to come by and check that out. And also, feel free to check out all my other Wonderlands guides that I have made in the past if you would like to catch up on some more Wonderlands news and some Wonderlands news and some Wonderlands related tips and tricks. Guys, my name is Bflattened and I'm signing on out of here. Take care all. Laters.